Morning everybody, welcome to Year 4 Maths. Hope you're all safe and well. This morning we're going to start with our usual warm-up. What we're going to try and do though now is that as we're starting to get used to this warm-up, is we're going to start asking you to try and get as close to 5 minutes for answering those questions as you possibly can. Some of you might come in a little bit sooner than that, some of you might need a little bit longer. Please still complete them, but perhaps keep an eye on the time and see if we can increase that speed every day. We're going to use the same format as usual. Triangle questions, try and do them in your head. Square questions, you can use a paper and pencil or paper and pen if you wish to. What I would suggest is that when you start answering the questions, press pause and press play when you're ready for me to go through the answers with you. Okay, the first question we're going to look at this morning is 167 plus 8. Getting used to this format now. This is testing number bonds to 10. The first thing we need to do is add on 3 so that we take the number to the next 10, okay? And then we will add the remaining 5. So 167 plus 3 makes 170, plus 5 will give us 175. Next question, 8 times 3, an absolute gift. All of you are getting better at your times tables. All of you have made good strides with that this year. So this is just about knowing your 3 times table. 8 times 3 is 24. Okay, next question, and we're into the written questions now. What's 39 divided by 3? Well, the first method that we're going to use this morning, or you could have used this morning, would have been the abstract method of short division. Okay, we've been looking at that this year, so I dare say some of you will have used that this morning. So the first thing we do is 3, how many 3's go into 3? Well, that's 1. And how many 3's go into 9? Well, that's 3. The answer then would be 13. It's possible you might have wanted to use partitioning, okay? And in that case, what we would do is partition 39 into 30 and 9. We might have then said how many 3's are in 30? 30 divided by 3 is 10. And then how many 3's go into 9? Well, 9 divided by 3 is 3. And then what we will do is recombine those numbers at the bottom here. So 10 plus 3 will be 13. And you can see there that we've got the same answer as the abstract method. So it doesn't matter which method you use, whatever's most comfortable for you. The final question in our warm-up this morning is 26 times 3. Now, lots of you will again have used the abstract method of short multiplication. Okay, and here we start off by saying 3 times 6 will give us 18. We would carry the 1 into the tens column, and then 3 times 2 would be 6 plus 1 would leave us with 7, and our answer then would be 78. We could, if we wanted to, try using partitioning. So if we were going to partition 26, I would have said probably the best way would be to make it 10, 10 and 6. We then would need to multiply each of those partitioned bits of the number by 3. So 10 times 3 would be 30, 10 times 3 would be 30, and 6 times 3 would be 18. We then, of course, would need to recombine the numbers. So 30 and 30 is 60, plus 18 would be 78. And we can check back to make sure, if we wanted to, that it matches our abstract method. Okay, we're going to move on now. Our learning intention this morning, we're looking to be able to divide whole numbers by 10. We're thinking about the star words for the morning will be decimal, will be tenth, will be divide, and will be whole. Okay. Our in-focus task this morning is looking at the question on the sheet. So you've got 10 children share 3 bars of chocolate equally. What fraction of a chocolate bar will each child get? Okay, so we will be looking at this during the course of this teaching sequence, and then at the end of the lesson we should be quite comfortable and be able to answer this question. So let's learn. What we could do if we wanted to divide the chocolate bars equally between 10 children is we could make a pictorial representation of each of the bars of chocolate. So I've got 1, 2, 3 bars of chocolate here. And because I'm dividing it by 10 children, I need to make sure I've cut each chocolate bar into 10 pieces. And then because there are 3 chocolate bars and we're dividing them by 10, what we would need to do is shading 1/10 or 1 piece of each chocolate bar. Okay, so here at the bottom, if we had 3 divided by 10, then it would leave us with 3/10 shaded if we took 1 from each of the chocolate bars. 3/10 it would be the same as 0.3, which we've learnt that earlier on in the teaching sequence yesterday. This method, though, is pictorial, okay? So it's just a visual representation. We could show it like this, okay? So what if 10 children share 23 sheets of art paper themselves? So we could then be thinking, okay, so this question is going to be 23 divided by 10. Okay, we could have a look at this. We've got 20 and we've got 3. We could partition the 23 into 20 and 3. So here, if I have this as my 20 and I divide that by 10, because there are 10 children, I know that I've got 2. The remaining 3, I still have to divide it by 10. So each of the remaining 3 parts, a bit like the chocolate bar just now, I need to divide them by 10. So here it would be 0.1, another 0.1, and 0.1. Or if we add them all together, 0.3. Now, if we're to look at that as the calculation, it's 20 divided by 10. So 20 divided by 10 is 2. And then 3 divided by 10 would be 0.3. The answer then, if we were to recombine that, would be 20 divided by 10 then would be 2.3. 2 plus 0.3. Okay, now this is the abstract method. This would be pictorial. It's possible to show what we're doing on a frame. On this side, you can see that it's 23, so we have 2 10s and 3 1s, and we're going to divide it by 10. Now, in order to divide a number by 10, we need to take each digit and move them 1 place to the right, 1 decimal place to the right. So if we were going to say 23 divided by 10 here, then what we're looking to do is move the 3 1 place across, which you can see is moved into the 10ths column, and then the 2 10s, we're going to move them into the 1s column. You can see that we've done that here as well. So 23 divided by 10 equals 2.3. And that's actually what we do when we divide a number by 10. We just take the numbers or the digits in that number and we move them 1 place to the right. We looked at that earlier on this year when we were looking at whole numbers. Hopefully you'll remember that it's a similar thing to what we did earlier on in the year. Have a look at these questions and see if you can find me the answer. So we've got 8 divided by 10 and we've got 42 divided by 10. Press pause now while you're looking at it and then press play and we'll go through the answers together. Okay, this question then, 8 divided by 10. Now if you wanted to do it as a bar or a pictorial method, you could draw your bar as making it 8 and then divide that up into tenths. And you could say, right, okay, what's 8 divided by 10 then? Well, it would be 1/10 of 8, okay, which would be 0.8. We could prove that over here if we wanted to we could look at the 8 and we could move that one place into the tenths column. That would leave us with 0.8. Likewise with 42, we could do exactly the same thing. We've got the bar drawn up there, but it's just as easy to use the frame here. We would move the ones column, the 2 in the ones column, into the tenths column, and the 4 will go into here. So if we wanted to, I could show you that there. So 42 then would become 4.2. Up here, if we wanted to go back to the 8, it would become 0.8 or 0.8. Please always, if you have this here, fill up the placeholder with a 0 if you're not sure. Okay. Okay, now it's your turn. What I'd like you to have a go at doing this morning is to complete worksheet 16 on pages 31 to 32 of the workbook. Answers will be posted tomorrow. Have a little play with it this morning, see what you can do. While you're doing this, of course, press pause, and when you're finished, press play, and I'll talk you through the next part of the lesson. Okay, we come to the final part of the lesson, the plenary. Now, if we come back or think back to the beginning of the session, do you remember this question? So now we know how to solve this question. We need to take 3 and divide it by 10. 3 bars of chocolate and divide it by the 10 children. The calculation is going to look like this, 3 divided by 10. How are you going to solve it? Press pause while you think about it or talk about it with your adult at home. Okay, so why not use this if we wanted to? We've got the frame there, and it's 3 divided by 10. And if you think back to the lesson, what we took was the number in the ones column and we moved it 1 decimal place to the right. And if we wanted to, we could fill up that gap with a place holding 0. So 3 divided by 10 will be 0.3. And this means that each child would have got 0.3 of a chocolate bar. Not very much, if you ask me. I guess it depends on how big that chocolate bar really is. But bearing in mind, Mr. Nugent likes lots of chocolate, I think I'd need to have a very big bar so that 0.3 of it would be satisfying. Hope you've enjoyed this morning's lesson. Stay safe. See you tomorrow.